Hey everyone, have you ever really stopped to think about how all that invisible stuff happening inside your phone or computer, the code, the data, actually gets to you? How do silent, digital ones and zeros become the show you're watching or the song you're listening to? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that magic.
I mean, really, how does it do it? It doesn't have a mouth, but we have conversations with our devices all day, every day. It shows us things, it tells us things, it even lets us feel things in a game. So what's the secret?
And there it is. The secret is that it communicates a lot like we do. It uses a face to show us things, a voice to speak to us, and even hands to create things for us in the real world. And all of these things, they're called output devices.
All right, so to really get a handle on this, let's nail down a proper definition. Let's follow the journey from pure digital code inside the machine to the physical reality that we can actually experience. Okay, so that sounds a little technical, but the key phrase is right there at the end, human perceptible form. Basically, that just means anything we humans can see or hear or touch. So you can think of an output device as a translator. It takes the computer's language, bits and bytes, and turns it into our language.
So here's how that translation works, broken down into 3 simple steps. First, your computer does its thing. It crunches all the data. Second, it zaps an electrical signal, like a command, over to an output device. And then, step 3, that device works its magic. It takes that abstract signal and turns it into a pixel lighting up on your screen, a sound coming from your headphones, or even a word printed on a page.
So now that we know what they are, let's get into the fun stuff, the incredible variety of them. There are so many ways our computers can talk to us, and each one is perfect for a different kind of conversation.
We can pretty much sort them all into these 3 big buckets. We've got stuff we see, stuff we hear, and stuff we can physically hold or feel. So let's start with the one that you're probably using at this very moment. Yep, the screen. It is, without a doubt, the main face of our digital world. I mean, from the giant TV in your living room to the tiny screen on your smartwatch, this is the canvas computers use to show us what they're thinking. They turn all that invisible data into everything from the text you're reading to a full-blown 4K movie. But, not all faces are created equal. Just look at the 2 big technologies we use today, LCD and OLED. Now, the real game changer with OLED is that it can turn each individual pixel completely off. What does that mean for you? It means you get perfect, deep, inky blacks instead of a washed-out dark gray. And that makes all the other colors just pop. Plus, it's way more energy efficient. It's a perfect example of how even our most basic output devices are always evolving.
Okay, so that covers what we see. But what about what we hear? Well, if the screen is the computer's face, then speakers and headphones are absolutely its voice. Their job is to take a digital audio file and translate it into actual, physical sound waves that travel through the air to your ears.
Now, you're obviously familiar with speakers and headphones, but the real unsung hero of the audio world is the sound card. This thing is usually tucked away right on the computer's motherboard, and it's basically the brain for everything you hear. It takes the raw digital data of a song and does the heavy lifting of converting it into the perfect electrical signal your speakers need to make that rich, clear sound.
But what if you need something permanent? A physical copy of something that you can hold in your hand. That's where the computer scribe comes in. The printer. It's the device that takes what's on the screen and makes it real.
And just like with screens, the type of printer you use really matters. So if you need to print a beautiful, glossy photo, an inkjet printer with its liquid ink is going to be your best friend. But if you need to crank out a 200-page report as fast as you can, then you want a laser printer, which uses a dry powder called toner. It's all about picking the right tool, the right scribe for the job. Okay, screens, speakers, printers. We've got the basics down, but this is where things get really cool. Let's talk about output that goes beyond just seeing and hearing. Let's talk about output you can feel and even build with.
This is called haptic feedback. It's output you can literally feel. It uses tiny, precise motors to create vibrations and textures, adding a whole new dimension to how we interact with our tech. It's like our sense of touch is finally part of the digital conversation.
That's it exactly. You experience this 100 times a day and might not even think about it. That little thump your phone makes when you type a message, that's output. That's the computer communicating directly to your fingertips, saying, yep, got it. It's so subtle, but it's incredibly powerful.
So let's push this idea even further. Imagine you're an architect. You've just designed a massive skyscraper on your computer. How in the world do you get that enormous, super detailed drawing out into the real world?
A regular piece of paper just isn't going to cut it, right?
Well, the answer is a plotter. Now, unlike a regular printer that makes images out of millions of tiny dots, a plotter actually draws with a pen. It uses something called vector graphics, which are basically just mathematical instructions for drawing lines and curves. A little robotic arm moves the pen around, drawing these perfectly smooth, continuous lines. It's the computer as a master draftsman. But what if you want the ultimate form of physical output? What if you don't just want to draw an object, but you want to actually create it right there in front of you? Well, that brings us to what might be the most revolutionary output device of them all, the 3D printer. This machine doesn't use ink or a pen, it uses materials like plastic or resin. And following a digital blueprint, it builds a solid, three-dimensional object, one microscopic layer at a time. It's not just a scribe or a draftsperson, it's the computer as a sculptor, as a mini factory, turning pure information into something you can hold in your hand.
So we've seen how computers use their faces, their voices, and even their hands to communicate with us. But why does any of this matter? Well, because understanding this really changes how we see our relationship with technology.
This is the big idea. Every single output device is a bridge. Without them, the entire digital universe would be trapped inside a box, silent, invisible, and completely useless to us. These devices are our windows, our ears, and our hands, letting us interact with a world that would otherwise be completely inaccessible.
And that kind of leads to one last fascinating thought. Today, we've pretty much mastered output for sight, sound, and touch. But what's next? Are we going to have devices that can output smells or even tastes? Could we one day have technology that outputs information directly into our minds? The conversation between us and our machines, it's really only just getting started.